New York in the summertime. Lots of folks head off to the Hamptons or the Catskills. Lots of tourists in town to take their place. No better place to be. No easier time to get a restaurant reservation than in July and August in New York, or to come out to Citi Field. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Cincinnati Reds. Mets baseball is presented in HD by IOTV. Get your HD free with IOTV. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play the rubber game of their three-game series against Cincinnati. Who owned New York last night? Well, it was Johan Santana. He pitched what Ronnie Darling likes to call a Little League game. The second Met pitcher in history to hit a home run and pitch a shutout this season.
And that other Met pitcher was Pete Falcone, and that's always a good omen when your starting pitcher hits a home run or drives in a run. And it did not overshadow his 9 innings of brilliant pitching. He's the 2 back-to-back now. He's thrown 2 outstanding ball games. In the 9th inning, Jerry Manuel came out. He kept him in the ball game. What did he do? He finished, and I think that's what Jerry wanted, that kind of reaction from Santana. Veteran leadership for the second half.
Just the 6th win of the year for Santana, although he's pitched far better than that. And now he hands the baseball on to John Neese, who has won 5 straight decisions since coming off the DL.
And DL coming off the DL June 5th, and he has been brilliant. 5-0, as Gary said. He's lowered his ERA over a run per game. He came back with an ERA way up in the high 4s. He's now down to his current, like, 3.62. But the most important thing is, in those wins and starts, he has gone deep in the ball game and has really, really given that bullpen a rest. He has been brilliant, mixing his cutter with his curveball, his off-speed pitch, and his fast, mixing all those pitches, and he has been brilliant.
On the other side, Bronson Arroyo, a guy who always gives the Mets fits, and so Jerry Manuel has a little different game plan against him tonight.
Well, he's altered the lineup tonight, stacked some left-handers in there. Feliciano, Josh Tolley, and Cora Pagan is always a starter, but that's another left-handed bat in the lineup. So Bronson Arroyo, left-hand hitters are hitting 302 against, where right-handers are hitting only 180. He is a lifetime 6-2 against the Mets. His first start against the Mets, when he was a Pirate, he got rocked. Since then, 6-1 with a 2.54 earned run average against the Metropolitans.
And coming off 6 brilliant innings against the Cubs his last time out. So the Mets will go up against Arroyo with John Neese, the Ohio native, tonight. Mets and Reds, rubber game of 3 from Citi Field. All the action coming up on SNY. Geico. By AT&T, rethink possible. By Frostbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Empire City Casino at Yonkers Raceway, the jackpot is next door. And by Toyota, there are many reasons to buy a Toyota, and now's the perfect time to get yours during Toyota's National Clearance Event. Better seats, lower prices direct from the Mets at Mets.com. Tickets for upcoming Mets games at Citi Field start at $23. Get to your great seats, great direct from the source, Mets.com. Here's your Suzuki around the majors. Some big finishes in Major League Baseball last night. Ryan Zimmerman, a pair of homers, including the game winner in the bottom of the ninth to beat San Diego 6-5. Rafael Furcal scored in his 12th straight game and drove in 3 as the Dodgers beat the Marlins 7-3. The Dodgers are 3 games behind the Padres, and an incredible comeback in Colorado. The Rockies were down 9-3 going to the bottom of the ninth. They tied it up. Then Seth Smith at a walk-off 3-run homer, a 9-run ninth in a 12-9 Colorado victory. John Neese giving no quarter to the weather. Hot, steamy. He's got the jacket on.
I know the weather's going to break tomorrow, but you got a tip on a snowstorm?
He's ready for San Francisco. First pitch in New York coming up. Pretty much the same unit we've seen for 3 days. The only change, Chris Heisey will play right field rather than Jay Bruce to give Dusty Baker's team an extra right-handed bat against John Neese. Brandon Phillips, who had one of 2 home runs against Neese when he faced the Reds in Cincinnati earlier this year. Right at the top of that Cincinnati lineup, which leads the league in runs scored.
And the defense for the Mets, see Ike Davis at first base. Starts pretty much every day. Alex Cora at second gets the start tonight. We talked about the left-hand hitters in the lineup. Jose Reyes in the lineup. We don't know if he's going to bat left or right-handed tonight. David Wright at third base. Red hot. Jason Bay, big 2 RBIs last night in left field. Mr. Pagan, who has been a Mr. Consistent. He is in his usual position in center field. And there's another lefty in the lineup. Out in right field, Jesus Feliciano. And behind the plate, Josh Tolley, another lefty in the lineup. So there you have it.
And he's a lefty, too.
Jonathan Neese, and we talked about his start, his strong, since coming off the DL, how well he's pitched. You see the right-handers to left-handers. Right-handers are a little bit problematic for him, but he has been nothing short of spectacular.
His numbers brought to you by Verizon. First pitch of the game to Phillips, taking all the way, and it's ball one. Phillips sitting at 306, 8th in the National League. 2 for 9 in this series. 64 runs scored, leads the league.
He usually tears up the Mets, so a 2 for 9 out of him. The Mets will be glad to see him leave with an 0 for tonight.
Led off the game with a double against Santana last night. Lines run to right to open this game for the game's first out.
Well, this is the hot corner, and that's why it's the hot corner. Just pure reaction right there. Knocks him back a few paces.
Well, if you weren't warmed up ready for the game, now you're warm.
Nice rubber match here. How have the Mets in rubber matches this year?
Not so good. They're 3-8 in rubber games this year, although they are 3-2 at home in rubber games. Here's Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera has torn up lefties this year, hitting .359 against left-handers. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Cabrera at .253 overall, now 36 years old. Coming over to the Reds this year. Looking to get to the postseason for the 6th time in the last 7 years. It would have been unlikely, you would have thought. The Reds have not had a winning season for the last 9 years. It's the 3rd longest current streak of losing seasons. The Pirates have had 17 and the Orioles 12. Cutter in on the hands of Cabrera, and it's 0-2.
Well, the Reds have not had a losing month so far this season, so they're doing quite well under the tutelage of Dusty Baker.
They've changed managers 6 times in the last decade, but they've found one to get them out in front. Another cutter in on the hands of Cabrera, and he fouls it off.
Well, Dusty's he's won wherever he's gone. Good friend of mine. Atlanta Braves, LA Dodgers. One of the real good guys. Good player manager. Very positive thinker.
Just fell short a couple of times managing the Giants and managing the Cubs. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Cabrera with the fastball for the second out. I mean, he got the Giants to Game 7 of the World Series, but they had a 5-0 lead in Game 6, ready to put it away, and couldn't close the deal in 0-2.
He made the fatal error of giving the game ball when he took out Russ Ortiz, the starting pitcher.
And then, of course, as manager of the Cubs, it all blew up on them.
Bartman.
And the Marlins beat them. Here's a curveball for a strike to Joey Votto, 0-1.
Nice curve. There's Dusty.
Dusty, one of the very few managers in history to play 2,000 games and manage 2,000 games. There have been only 10. And among current managers, only Dusty Baker and Joe Torre are in that company. 2,000 games played and 2,000 games managed.
He's always got the toothpick in his mouth.
Like UL Washington.
Do you remember that movie with Tony Curtis and Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon, Some Like It Hot, and that St. Valentine's Day Massacre? One of the guys that was wiped out was Toothpick Charlie. So I always called Dusty Toothpick Charlie.
Two and one to Joey Votto, and he fouls it away.
Votto, really, you said it, Garrett. MVP year. Just really has come into his own this season. He's had terrific years, but this year has just been terrific. And that guy hitting behind him, healthy, Scott Rowland, has made a big difference in this club.
3rd full major league season for Votto. And Neese finds the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Back-to-back strikeouts for John Neese. A 1-2-3 first. Mets come to bat with no score. On top against the right-hand pitcher Bronson Arroyo, and Reyes takes a strike. Here's the rest of the lineup for you. There are 6 left-handed bats in the lineup. Would be 7 if Reyes were swinging from both sides of the plate. But that's the game plan against Bronson Arroyo, who eats up right-hand hitters, and he gets ahead of Reyes 0-2.
Good sinker right there, and there we'll take a look at Bronson's numbers. He got off to a terrible start this year, 1-2 with an ERA over 6 in April, but since then 6-2.
The liner right back to Arroyo for the first out, so Reyes not looking comfortable from the right side against the right-hander.
Well, we talked about Arroyo's numbers against the right-handers, hitting 180 against them, and the Coors Light Reds defense. Gomes, Stubbs, Heisey out in the outfield. Roland, Cabrera, Phillips, Votto, and Miller round out the infield. They have been uncharacteristic. They have made 4 errors in the last 3 games, but 3 errors in this series.
Here's Angel Pagan. Angel hitting an even 300 on the year.
Arroyo with one of those ballet-type windups with the big leg kick.
Could be a rocket.
I mean, he got that stiff leg, the one he lifts up in the air and gets a big stiff leg kick. Very, I think, confusing windup. I think it throws hitters off their stride. But he can throw the whole kitchen sink at you. He's got everything.
Got that great curveball, which he uses as an out pitch. Pagan gets into one, deep right field. Back goes Heisey onto the track, right back at the wall. It's out of here! Angel Pagan homers to give the Mets a 1-0 lead. Number 6 for Angel Pagan.
Second home run of the series for Angel. Homered in the first game.
That was batting right-handed. Here he hit a lot further batting lefty.
And that's just a pitch, a changeup. Looked like that got over the middle of the plate.
So number 6 for Pagan. He's hit 2 right-handed and now 4 left-handed. And the Mets again jump out in front. When the Mets have scored first at Citi Field this year, they are 20-2. Here's David Wright. And he flies one out to right field. This one should be playable for Heisey. And that's the second out. Well, for every home run the Mets hit at Citi Field this season, Stuart Rohr and Kinray's Home Runs for Charity program will donate $1,000 to the Mets Foundation. Kinray has donated $29,000 so far in 2010.
Well, he knew he made a mistake here. Look at the reaction of Bronson. He's just saying, well, it's a big ballpark. Maybe it's going to stay in here. Yeah, not much of a reaction. You know, he knows he made a boo-boo.
Ball would have been 30 rows up in the stands in his home ballpark in Cincinnati. Here's Ike Davis, and he grounds one out to second for Brandon Phillips, who's down to a knee, and that retires the side. But Angel Pagan puts a charge into one, gets the Mets off to a fast start tonight. Don't need Santana to hit the go-ahead home run tonight. Pagan takes care of it, 1-0 New York after 1. by IOTV. And if you're not near a TV, listen to every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Day off tomorrow, then the Mets play their final 3 games before the All-Star break against the first-place Braves. Mets 2 games behind Atlanta going into tonight. Braves finishing up their series in Philadelphia and leading 1-0 in the first inning on another Martin Prado home run. What kind of year is he having?
He's leading the league in hitting.
Prado now has 119 hits. That's an enormous number before the All-Star break. Scott Rowland, 2 for 8 in this series. And Nice falls behind him 2-0. Rowland, 17 home runs, 57 RBIs, and riding a 7-game hitting streak right now. Johnny Gomes on deck. And there's a strike at the knees, 2-1.
Rowland healthy and swinging the bat well. I thought swung the bat best of anybody off of Santana last night, who was brilliant.
On the outside edge, and Nice painting nicely. It's 2-2.
Walt Jocketty picked Rowland up last year from the Blue Jays on July 31st.
On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Outside, inside, Nice with complete command of his fastball. That's 3 straight strikeouts.
Well, it makes me think that Rowland was looking for either a changeup or a curve right there. Probably not, because that's just a good pitch on the inside corner. Beautiful pitch.
Dan Isonia, the home plate umpire, making that strike call. Dale Scott, the crew chief at first. Jerry Meals and Mark Wegner rounding out the crew. So 3 consecutive strikeouts for Nice, and now Johnny Gomes settles in. Gomes 1 for 9 in this series, having a surprising year. Grounds one down to third, off the backhand of right, and safe at first is Johnny Gomes. Well, David made a similar play in Washington last Saturday where he failed to backhand a ball, then wound up throwing out a runner at second base.
Kind of took an inside hop, didn't it? Like it hit a cleat mark. If it was a cleat mark, it had to be the home run trot of maybe Pagan, but it took kind of a funny hop.
It'll be an error on right, his 9th of the year, giving the Reds their first base runner of the game. And now here's Chris Heisey making his first appearance in this series. Heisey actually made his major league debut against the Mets back on the 3rd of May out of Messiah College in Pennsylvania. Heisey's had 59 at-bats with the Reds this year, and he's hit 4 home runs. He's had most of his success as a pinch hitter. In fact, he's hit 3 pinch hit home runs in only 12 pinch hit at-bats.
It's 5 for 12 as a pinch hitter.
And Nice misses away, and it's 2-0.
Interesting. John coming out, opening up with fastballs in and out. Outstanding. Keeping the ball down.
Drew Stubbs on deck. Well, Nice had one of his poorer starts of the year against Cincinnati first time around. He pitched against them on the 5th of May, gave up 12 hits in 6 innings. For the most part, they were pinging him to death, hitting a lot of singles, but then he gave up a couple of home runs in the 5th inning of that game to Brandon Phillips and Johnny Gomes, and wound up giving up 4 runs on 12 hits in 6 innings. A no decision game for him.
Another little cutter.
And Heisey fouls it off, 2-2.
What's good about his cutter, Gary, and you can see it at home, folks, watching on TV. You can throw a cutter and it can be flat. Then you've got to be precise. His cutter has a little sharp down tilt to it, too. So really gets under the bat of right-hand hitters. Most cutters are flat. His has got a little sharp down break.
Interesting there, the fact that he's given up far more hits on his fastball than his cutter. Line caught by Cora from his knees. Can't quite double up Gomes, but what a play by Alex Cora to rob Heisey of a base hit for the second out.
Well, terrific play here. You notice Cora was standing up when that ball was thrown on that pitch. He was on his toes. Full extension. Beautiful play. That's first and third right there.
And Gomes just got back.
The Mets are just playing good defense. They're doing everything right.
So 2 out of the inning. Here's Drew Stubbs, 1 for 6 in this series, hitting a .238. Hit 3 home runs in the Reds' last game in Chicago on Sunday. But That may not be a great thing for Stubbs. The Reds have felt as though he's been trying to hit too many home runs, and he has struck out an alarming 86 times. And a call strike 1-1.
Stubbs got the big hit off Pelfrey with 2 outs. Pelfrey was one out away from getting out of that controversial inning with just 1 run, and he got the big 2-out RBI that kind of marked the end for Pelf.
Slow ground ball. Stubbs with great speed, but Wright throws him out easily to end the inning. Helped out by Alex Cora's glove. 1-0 New York. .10 p.m. Get the best seats direct from the Mets at Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX. Jason Bay has really turned the RBI crank of late. 3 RBIs in this series, 13 in his last 9 games.
Still not there, Gare. I just think that he's still inconsistent with his plate appearances. He's shortened up a lot of what I feel. And you can see the defense right there. Yeah, that's pretty much straight up, very deep in the outfield. You got to respect his power, even though he hasn't hit for power this year.
You see in infields more and more play him to pull, and Phillips almost behind the bag at second. And the curveball pulled down to third for Rowland to handle. And Bay retired, 1 out.
As I was saying about Bay, he's been driving in runs with her singles, where he's got the situation requires a base hit, and he's done a very good job of shortening up and not trying to hit for power and just getting that base hit. I think that's helped him. I think he will get better with more opportunities if he has more RBI opportunities.
Now Josh Thole getting his 3rd start. Not only is Thole starting tonight, he will probably start on Friday night with R.A. Dickey on the mound. Jerry Manuel loved the way Thole caught Dickey in his last start on Saturday.
And he's been swinging a nice bat, had a nice little road trip. Got
good contact hitter.
Yeah, absolutely. Chokes up.
He had some wonderful at-bats against Steven Strasburg in the game on Saturday.
Well, very close, very deep in the box and on top of the plate.
Okay.
That's as close as it gets right there. That's why he chokes up.
in tight with that fastball, and you can understand why a pitcher would want to run it in on him.
That's exactly right. Establish in and then hopefully get him worried and then throw the dip-de-doo on the outside corner.
But the Royals had trouble putting those lefties away. And now it's 3-2. I don't recall Arroyo splits being this stark in the past. This year the lefties hitting 122 points higher than the righties against him. So Feliciano on deck. 3-2 to Tolley, right back to Arroyo.
Perfect pitch for a young hitter. You 3-1, throw him a little, take a little off, throw a little sinker away. Starts down the middle and watch a little fade. Get a young hitter out in front. I remember it well.
And then what happens?
You learn. You learn. You put it all, you put it in the back of your head and you remember. Jim Lomberg used to give me so much trouble with the Phillies. He was, after he hurt his arm, he had some good years with the Phillies.
Here's Jesus Feliciano, who was getting a lot of playing time while Angel Pagan was sidelined. Just starting a week for him.
Jim Lomberg could throw that 3-1 breaking ball in the outside corner. Drive me crazy. I was desperate to hit a fastball. There's the man of the hour.
By the time you saw Lomberg, he was
on the backside.
Back end of his career.
Still tough.
I mean, Lomberg was the guy who came out of nowhere for the Red Sox in 1967 to lead them to the World Series.
Cy Young won the first two starts in the World Series in '67, and then pitched Game 7 with 3 days rest. 2 days rest, and could not. He got rocked. Bob Gibson, of course, closed it out.
He could not duplicate what Sandy Koufax had done 2 years earlier when Sandy pitched on 2 days rest and shut out the Twins in Game 7.
Then he went up to Aspen and was a very handsome man skiing with Jill St. John, the actress, and he blew out his knee. And they have a clause in every Major League contract named after him.
Sidearm breaking ball fouled down the left field side.
The Lomberg clause. If you ski in the offseason, your contract, again, and hurt yourself and you can't play, your contract is null and void.
And there are a lot more activities on that list now. I think skiing was the first one, but they've added things like snowmobiling and basketball. You know, Aaron Boone blew out his knee.
Parachuting was in my contract.
Parachute?
Yep. I was in with the Cardinals.
Feliciano hits a slow ground ball. Had you been thinking about parachuting?
No, I wasn't.
That's a good thing. I don't want you jumping out of planes.
Also speed racing.
1-0 Mets after 2. significant enhancements out at Citi Field this season thanks to the quality and skill of New York City Union carpenters and contractors. Let's go to Kevin Burkhardt and learn more.
Well, of course, we've talked about one of the great enhancements is the Mets Hall of Fame, new this year to Citi Field, guys. And one of the coolest things in there, we've talked about a lot of the different items, but the Bill Buckner Bowl, of course, from Game 6, just a beautiful thing. Met fans can check it out. And, of course, here is that fame play through the wickets. And, of course, you look at the ball now. Well, how about the story about the ball? Ed Montague, the umpire, picked it up. When he did, he put an X on it so he remembered that specific ball. After the game, gave it to Arthur Richmond, the Mets traveling secretary, who brought it into the Mets clubhouse, where Mookie signed it and said, "To Arthur, the ball that won it for us." Keith, you could, of course, talk about this, but the ball, the story goes, was then passed around. Certain players kissed it. There's a couple tobacco stains on it as well. The bottom line is that baseball, which you just saw, is now worth over $500,000. I wonder if it would have been passed around so easily at the time if you knew that right now that's the cost of that baseball. But the great thing, it's on display for everyone to see. Guys?
Ike Davis to the railing, and he makes the catch. He didn't have to flip this time, but Ike Davis on the dead run going into that low wall makes another spectacular play.
Very nice, Ike. Well, look at the girl's reaction, the young lady's reaction.
Just wants to make sure he's okay.
That's right, she was very concerned.
Well, that's two spectacular plays the Mets have made defensively tonight, one by Cora, now one by Davis. And Bronson Arroyo will step in.
Bronson, a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Has a home run this year, 5 for his career. And he takes a strike. Arroyo's got that rock and roll hair.
Guitar player.
They're still selling his CD at Great American Ballpark, the one he made 5 years ago. Some pretty good musicians on that CD.
Did the Reds get a cut for giving him a...
I think it's a charity.
Ah, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I believe he had the guitarist from Alice in Chains on that CD. I mean, there's some high-priced talent there in addition to Bronson himself. But Bronson has had to substantially give up his guitar playing the last few years because he has suffered from carpal tunnel syndrome.
Can't have that. More important thing.
Two from Nice. Struck him out. Got him with a cutter. 4 strikeouts first time through the batting order for John Nice.
Well, he has come out of the chute
very similar to his last start against Washington, in which he struck out 8 in the first 4 innings to set a new career high. He gave up just 1 run and 6 hits over 7 innings in that start against the Nats on Friday. Didn't walk a batter. And off to another fast start tonight. Here's Brandon Phillips, who hit a bullet right at David Wright for the first out of the game.
Joe Morgan's here tonight, the Hall of Fame second baseman, the best second baseman that I saw in my playing, my 17 years by far. 2-time MVP. Talking about the Reds turnaround, he was happy as a clam. He's an old Red. What a trade that was when they got Morgan. He traded Lee May, Tommy Helms, and they got they got someone else beside Joe out of that.
Well, Morgan had been in Houston for what, 7-8 years before he went to the Reds, and he'd been a good player.
Hit in the air to deep left field. Back goes Bay for a look, but that ball is out of here. Brandon Phillips ties the game with his 12th home run of the year. Second time he's taken Nice deep this season, and the game is even at 1.
Well, we told you, Met killer right there.
Now Phillips is going to be a first-time All-Star this year, and he continues to play like one.
Well, he crushed that ball. There was no doubt when it went out. Before it went out. When it went off the bat, there was no doubt.
So the first hit off Nice, just like the first hit off Arroyo, leaves the yard. And now Orlando Cabrera with 2 out. Takes ball 1.
Oh, see the reaction. Uh-oh. Johnny got mad there. I like to see that. I like it. And we'll see our IOTV pitch differential set up down the middle. And he got it down the middle. See, he didn't get the sink. likes with the changeup, where he throws the sinker, probably sets up down the middle. So he throws it down the middle, and it will sink to the outside corner. He just didn't get the sink at that, on that pitch. It happens.
Only the 8th home run Nice has allowed this year, and Phillips has 2 of them. I was saying about Joe Morgan, he was a good player in Houston, but he became a great player in Cincinnati.
Well, I tell you what, playing in the Astrodome, that big ballpark, and it was when Joe was there, it was a lot bigger than when I played. It was the Grand Canyon, and I think that affected him. He went to Cincinnati, which was a good hitting ballpark, AstroTurf, which was good for him. And he was just a great player. What's he saying? Yep, we got him. Okay.
Was that hit on his foot?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Let's check it out.
Oh, it got him right in the toe.
Yeah, that ball redirected. It had to have hit his toe.
Not much of an effort to get out of the way, huh?
6th batter that Nice has hit this year. So a 2-out base runner for Joey Votto, who took a call 3rd strike his first time up.
Well, much like last night, Santana led Votto off his first at bat with 2 breaking balls.
And a weak ground ball right to the bag for Ike Davis to end the inning. But the Reds get even on a Brandon Phillips home run, his 12th of the season. Each team has only 1 hit. Pagan with a homer, now Phillips with a homer. 1-1 middle of the inside look at all the NBA free agent drama as they debate the top New York sports stories of the day in the Wheelhouse, presented by Pepsi, part of the New York Sports Local, tomorrow at 5:30, only on SNY. You're going to be sitting in front of your TV watching the big LeBron press conference tomorrow night?
Gosh almighty, they're making a big to-do about that, or what?
You think? Alex Cora leading off the home third, takes that slow curve, and it misses 2-0. Cora hitting at .237, but he's got a 6-game hitting streak going. In there as Jerry Manuel stacks his lineup with lefties against Bronson Arroyo. By the way, when this half inning is over, we will be joined by Jerry Manuel from the Mets dugout. No commercial between innings, so that we can talk directly to the manager. We spare no expense.
I look forward to that.
Cora lines one to right, but Heisey gets in front of it. 1 out.
No commercials. You know what that means?
What's that mean?
That means they'll jam them in the back end of the game.
You think? I prefer not to know that. Here's Jonathan Neese, who has 4 hits this year. By the way, you were talking about that Joe Morgan from the Astros to the Reds trade. It was an 8-player deal.
Right, it was a big one. Jim Beechuk was involved in that?
No, but
Cesar Geronimo.
Cesar Geronimo, Jack Billingham,
No.
who of course was a big part of the Big Red Machine on the mound, and Dennis Menke also went in that deal, along with Ed Armbruster, who was also a controversial figure in that. Is it the 75 series?
Yep.
Line the other way, and Neese has himself a base hit. Touched by a fan. It'll be ruled a fan interference double for John Neese. Well, he had an RBI double in his last start. His first extra base hit in his career, and now he's got his second.
Nice swinging right there.
So 2-hearted balls against Arroyo to start this 3rd inning. And now Reyes again will bat right-handed against Arroyo. He had a soft liner right back to the pitcher his first time up and did not look very comfortable, much as he didn't look comfortable in his at-bat last night batting righty on righty. So he's up there looking to push a bunt.
And that'll bring Scott Rowland in on that outfield fringe now. Votto's in the corner on the other side.
Logan Andrusik faced Reyes in the 7th last night. Got him very much the same way Arroyo did first time up today, getting to lunge across the plate. It's a ground ball. Neese trying to advance and bobbled by Cabrera, but Neese is out anyway. Well, poor base running by the pitcher, Neese. And despite the bobble by Cabrera, he's out for the 2nd out.
Well, we'll forgive Jonathan because he's a pitcher. But if he does it again, that's a fine.
And you know what? What's even worse than the base running mistake? The head first slide. You just can't have your pitcher leading with his left hand with a head first slide.
Yes, I agree. He knows it.
So 2 out. Reyes now at first. See if he tries to swipe one here with Pagan at the plate. Pagan homered his first time up. Jose with 19 stolen bases this year. So a very interesting note today from Elias on Reyes. He has never been caught stealing at Citi Field. 21 for 21 last year and this year combined. That's pretty good.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Jose is just really, I think, it's a shame he got the little tweak in his side there, because both he and David have elevated their games.
Phillips throws out Pagan to end the inning. Keep it right here because Jerry Manuel will join us in just a moment once we get him on headset down in the dugout. The interview with Jerry Manuel brought to you by the
I'm ready for Major League Baseball. He's a good player.
Jerry, thanks so much for joining us.
All right, guys.
All right, Jerry Manuel joining us from the Mets dugout. And, you know, there have been so many pleasant surprises on this team. And it was interesting Jerry went right to Angel Pagan, because there are a lot of ways you could go on this team, from Ike Davis to R.A. Dickey and right on down the line.
Well, I would be inclined, after what Angel showed last year with all the mistakes that he made, all the base running blunders and just trying too hard, not slowing the game down. I think I agree with Jerry 100%. This young man right here is a Major League star. He has played like a Major League star this year.
Okay, and that begs the next question. If he's a Major League star, how can he not play every day?
I think
as Roland strikes out on 3 pitches, 5 strikeouts for Nice.
I think he's going to play plenty. I really do. I don't think he's going to lose a lot of time. I don't see how you can take him out of the line.
So, does that mean Francoeur is going to sit a lot?
I think Francoeur may sit a lot. They're going to get their time playing. They're going to get their time in.
I mean, I'm sure that Carlos is not going to play 7 days a week.
Right.
He's going to probably play 5 out of 7.
Yeah, okay. And Jerry's going to find plenty of playing time for Francoeur. He's not going to sit there and rot.
There's Johnny Gomes, and the curveball hit toward the middle, but Cora playing over that way makes another nice play for the second out.
Boy, the Mets have had their infield defense in the right spot. A couple hard hit balls on the ground, and the Mets have been right there.
So Nice, after his misadventure on the bases, gets a couple of quick outs, and now he'll take on Chris Heisey, who was flat out robbed of a hit by Cora his first time up.
The pitching is coming back in baseball, and I'm a very happy camper about this. This turn of events. I just hated the 90s with all the offense. See a lot of nice young pitchers around the league now, and I just think it's terrific. And I think the fans now are getting over this home run. I don't know the right word.
Barrage out to center field, and Pagan settles under it. I'm not sure the fans ever loved the home run as much as the baseball powers that be thought that they loved the home run. 1-2-3 inning for Nice. Still tied at 1. tomorrow afternoon. You can vote for the 34th and final player for each league roster. Go to Mets.com and cast your All-Star Game final vote for the final 2 All-Stars for the game in Anaheim.
Well, there's one right there, huh?
Well, he's been leading the National League final player balloting since the voting began, and the Reds have put out Vote Votto shirts. David Wright takes a curveball for a strike. The other candidates, Heath Bell, Carlos Gonzalez, Billy Wagner, Ryan Zimmerman. In the American League, Paul Konerko, Nick Swisher, Kevin Youkilis, Delman Young, and Michael Young. I think Swisher had the early lead, but then I think he got overtaken by Konerko the last time I looked.
Konerko's having a pretty fine year again. Power year, as usual.
David grounds one down to third, and Roland completes the first out. So Arroyo's retired the leadoff hitter in all 4 innings. And now Ike Davis, who grounded out his first time up. We were talking about Arroyo's lefty-righty splits, and I was pretty certain that they had never been as stark as they are now, and Dave Freed, our statistician, did some research. The career numbers on Arroyo, lefties at 287, righties 242, so that's a 45-point difference. But this year it's a 122-point difference.
Well, it's a huge difference against right-handers from 242 to 180. That's more stark. Your favorite word. One of your many favorite words.
Stunning.
You like that one too. I can think of another one that's on a more negative note.
Well, I don't think there's any need to be negative, is there? 0-2 to Ike Davis. Jason Bay on deck. It's been a strange stretch for Ike Davis. He's punctuated these last couple of weeks with some big hits, big home runs, but just 6 for his last 36. He rips that one, and Votto, with a lot of white showing, snags it for the second out.
Well, he's hit the ball hard twice tonight. And this is just a rocket. Oh, wow, it almost went through his webbing. Let's see if it went through the webbing almost.
Yeah, he's going for a new glove.
Yep.
That ball almost went right on through. Your Home Depot doing more on defense.
That's why you always have a backup glove.
You ever have one go through the webbing on you?
No. I use 2 gloves a season. I would get rid of the glove I had the first half of the year. The All-Star break, I would flip over to a new glove.
By the way, here's an update on that final player balloting. Take one of the players off the ballot. Heath Bell today was named as a replacement for the injured Giovanni Gallardo. So Bell is in as an All-Star, which is only right that the San Diego pitching staff have at least one representative.
No fooling.
So a little glove repair going on there in the Cincinnati dugout as Jason Bay steps in.
Trainers are always the ones that will fix up your gloves. Ray Ramirez for the Mets does that for them, for the Metropolitans. You've always got a backup rawhide. There's a pitch that Jason should have murdered right there. Just rolled over too quick, and you can see his reaction. That's what I said, Gary. It's a start and stop first half for him. And you get down to the last, 3.5 games before the All-Star break. I think 3 days off for Jason will be wonderful therapy. Yep.
A couple of tools and some leather strips, and you can make it as good as new.
Nice Rawlings glove.
1-2 to Bay. Runs him inside. It's 2-2. And a curveball got him. So Arroyo strikes out Bay. First strikeout of the night for Bronson Arroyo. 1-1 game after 4. Solo home run. Angel Pagan homer to the first for the Mets. Brandon Phillips in the third for the Reds. John Neese has thrown just 50 pitches over the first 4 innings. So he has been very economical, trying to get himself deep into a ball game against a tough foe in Bronson Arroyo.
Well, he's off to a flying start. He came out of the chute really just spotting his fastball well. He got hurt on the one mistake he made. He got hurt with the home run in the third. Changeup that just stayed over the middle.
And he really has not thrown a lot of curveballs tonight. He's kind of keeping that in his back pocket for now. Drew Stubbs leads off, lower third of the order for the Reds, and he takes away for ball 1. Stubbs grounded out to third base his first trip.
He's throwing a lot of fastballs, too.
Off the fists, and Reyes in front of it. Stubbs retired, 1 away. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
Well, it is Brooklyn Cyclones night here at the park. This whole area, Brooklyn Cyclones ticket holders. Little shameless plug, SNY tomorrow night. Brooklyn Cyclones taking on State College. I found the manager of the Brooklyn Cyclones. Wally Backman is here. Wally, good to see you as always.
Good to see you, Kevin.
You know, look, you played obviously in the major leagues. You've managed and coached at all levels. What is the difference at coaching at this level of ball and A ball?
Well, you know, you got a lot of young college guys just coming out of the draft, and it makes it a little bit tough because, especially on the pitching side of it, if you use a pitcher today, you can't use him for tomorrow. But you know, that's what makes it tough when you're trying to run your bullpen. But it's a learning process for a lot of these guys. It's teaching them the game the way that it's supposed to be played professionally.
Yeah, you know, what do you enjoy about that the most is Corky Miller, the catcher, bats against Neese here.
Well, what I enjoy about it the most, I think, is see the progress of some of the young players that I've got so far. You know, the Corey Vaughns, the guys like that. You know, his dad played in the big leagues for quite a while, Greg Vaughn, and Corey's come a long ways. This kid is going to be a good player someday.
I mean, I'm not going to ask you to name names here, but, I mean, is it evidence as Neese continues to work with another strikeout as Miller goes down? Is it evident, you know, right from the get? Can you see and say, wow, that guy's got a chance to be a major leaguer?
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. You know, health is always an issue. You know, we have a few players that I believe that are not missed guys, but there's not very many of them. There's 2 that come to mind, but there's a couple of guys that are long shots, that got some ability, and you know, if they continue to work the way that they're working and get better the way they're getting better, they've got a chance.
Arroyo bats as Jonathan Neese working for a 1-2-3 inning here as we talk to Wally Backman. Let's see, we did one game so far in SNY. We saw a suicide squeeze work. We saw a bunch of hit and runs. We saw bunts. We saw Wally ball, basically. So give me a feel of how the Cyclones are playing ball these days.
Well, we're playing pretty good. You know, we need a little help in our pitching department, especially in our bullpen. The starters have been outstanding. We've been able to swing the bats pretty well. So, you know, we've won some games. We've lost some tough ones.
How many squeezes have you done?
We've done 2. We're 2 for 2.
I have a feeling we might see a couple more too. And tomorrow is Wally Backman jersey night, guys. Check this out. As Arroyo goes down, we'll show you the jersey. It's pretty good stuff. So you get that tonight. You get to see this guy, see the Cyclones pay. Jonathan Neese is rolling as we take a look at some Wally Backman video.
Of 1999, when the Mets took on the Reds in a one-game playoff for the wild card, Edgardo Alfonso delivered the keynote against Steve Paris in the first inning, and Al Leiter did the rest. A magnificent shutout performance by Leiter as the Mets beat the Reds that day, behind Bobby Valentine to clinch the wild card, then beat Arizona in the division series before losing a memorable 6-game series to the Braves in the league championship series.
Well, Al just threw a terrific ball game there, and a game of that much magnitude to be on the road and do that is just really, I'm gratifying. I'm sure it's one of Al's moments in his career that he's most proud of.
It was such a frenzied stretch drive that year for the Mets. They went into the final weekend of the season 2 games behind with 3 to play. They won in extra innings on Friday night on a Robin Ventura hit. Rick Reed pitched the game of his life on Saturday. The Reds lost both Friday and Saturday, beaten by Milwaukee, and that tied things up going into the final day as Josh Tolley flares one down the left field side foul. And then the Mets beat the Pirates on a walk-off wild pitch by Brad Klontz, and then had to wait around because the Reds were being rain delayed in Milwaukee, what was originally supposed to be the final ever game at County Stadium, but because they had the accident, they had to postpone it a year. This is the wild pitch. Melvin Morris scored with the winning run, and Mike Piazza stood there with his bat in his hand, not knowing what to do. I was supposed to drive in that run. Tolley with a base hit as Votto did not move to the ball. And that's a leadoff single for Tolley, just the Mets' 3rd hit. Not sure what Votto was thinking.
Just watch Votto here. Just takes us. Well, that's
just didn't know where Phillips was, I guess.
Or lack of aggressiveness, I don't know, or just didn't see it off the bat.
So the Mets have a leadoff base runner. Anyway, the Mets had to wait all day for the Reds to play their game, and what the Mets knew is that if the Reds lost, they'd go right into the division series to Arizona, but that if the Reds won, they'd have to go to Cincinnati for that one-game playoff. So they hung around Shea Stadium hour after hour. The game wasn't starting, and finally they decided to just fly to Cincinnati, see what happens. They landed, found out the Reds had won a game that was delayed 7 hours in Milwaukee, and they played the next night, and Leiter pitched that great game and sent them on to the postseason. One of the most memorable years in Mets history, because it was one of those years where they hadn't been to the postseason in 11 years, and they won every key game they needed to win coming down the stretch of the year in order to get themselves in. And remember, the year before they had lost their last 5 games and fallen just 1 game short of the wild card. So it was truly a memorable season, and one that often gets overlooked because it didn't result in a championship. 1-1 to Feliciano, who grounded out to second base his first time up.
You might have a little hit and run here with Feliciano. Handles the bat well, hit line drive hitter. So see what Jerry's got in mind here.
Feliciano grounded out to second base his first trip. And he hits one foul.
Well, we won't have a hit and run now. 1-2 count. That's the end of that.
The Mets are taking on the highest scoring team in the National League. They got shutout pitching last night from Santana. Brilliant pitching so far tonight from Nice. Now I'm just trying to scratch out a lead.
All of a sudden, Feliciano is just kind of hitting the ball opposite field, way foul. Yeah, you see he took a level swing right there. He's trying to level off a little bit.
One-two from Arroyo, and it's fly the other way, a base hit. So Feliciano made the adjustment on 1-2, and the Mets have the first 2 men on here in the 5th.
Fastball away, too much plate. That's how you hit a ball away. That is Feliciano's forte. He's not a pull hitter. Basically a singles hitter, and sprays the ball around the ballpark.
So now you got 2 aboard with the 8 and 9 hitters coming up. Well, the game plan tonight was to load the lineup with left-hand hitters. The Mets have 4 hits in this game, and they've all come from left-hand hitters. Another one here in Cora, who lined out hard to right field his first time up.
And you see the defense, they're rolling in the corner. They know that Cora is a good drag bunter.
And Cora looking to drop down that bunt, but fouled it off.
I want Cora swinging in the bat.
Well, you got the pitcher on deck. Well, the Mets early in the season were dreadful with runners in scoring position. But since the 22nd of May, they're hitting .330 as a team with runners in scoring position.
Well, hey, results are W's.
One and one to Cora. And Alex has been among the practitioners. Alex for the year is hitting .324 with runners in scoring position. Some 85 points higher than his overall average. He's had some big hits lately, especially extra base hits. Had a couple of triples in Washington. Had a big double in the first game of this series. Driving the ball to right center more than we've seen in the past.
Hitting left-hander as well.
Sidearm delivery. It's on the outside corner with a curveball. 1-2. Unusual to see a right-hander drop down that way against a left-hand hitter.
If he does, it's going to be the old back door. You cannot try to come inside with that flat slider. You can get hurt. Even though the catcher's set up in, that's a very risky pitch to throw Laredo on a righty to a lefty, lefty to a righty.
So now he's ahead on Cora. 1-2. Tries it again. Grounded weakly down to first. Votto's going to have to settle for the out at first base as the runners move to second and third with 1 out. So a productive out for Cora, but now you've got the pitcher coming up. Although Neese certainly gave a good account of himself his last time up.
Well, gone double to right field. A ball in inner half of the plate, inside out of that cut and slash kind of swing. And I don't think he's going to get a fastball here, Gary.
Tolle is the runner at third, not blessed with great speed, in case you're thinking about a squeeze play. You don't often see teams squeeze with runners at second and third. Phillips and Cabrera at second and short, playing about halfway, not all the way in. And Neese punches the curveball foul.
You can't throw that curveball. You can't drop down that flat breaking ball. And he's had a nice cut now. He's a little tardy. Watch, he's coming down a little bit, and that ball just hanging up there. They get more on top and get more tilt to that breaking ball. And the infield, they're conceding except at third base, conceding the run. Outfield way shaded the opposite field.
I think where Cabrera's playing, he could come home on a sharply hit grounder. Down toward first, a foul ball. I mean, you got a guy at third who's not all that fast, and Tolle.
Or even Phillips can come home. So everybody's in a position to. You just don't want to give up 2 runs. You don't want to give up too much by playing in as far as your infield range. And all of a sudden you're down 2 runs.
Well, Arroyo has struck out only 1 tonight, and for the season he's averaging just 4.4 strikeouts per 9 innings. But this is one of those spots where, as a pitcher, you are looking for a strikeout. Trying to dispose of Neese with Jose Reyes on deck. Reyes, remember, is batting strictly right-handed and has struggled so far tonight. And Neese goes down on the fastball, and that's the second out.
Oh, pretty smart right there. Ahead of the count, pitched away. Look at the catcher. Pop a fastball upstairs, sees if he goes after it, and he did.
So John, who picked up his first big league RBI in his last start, unable to convert there. Now it's left to Reyes with 2 out. Reyes had a soft liner to the pitcher and grounded one to the shortstop that resulted in a fielder's choice. 0 for 2. And Reyes takes the curveball for a strike.
It's a tough guy for Jose, who's not used to hitting righty against righties to experiment with. Arroyo, it just has everything. Changes speeds, would drive you crazy.
bailing mechanism for a right-hand batter against a right. It's got to be a little different if you use the switch hitting, right?
Well, it's just, you know, you're trained. Jose doesn't train to hit on that side of the plate against a right-hander. It's got to be a whole. I think picking up the ball out of the pitcher's hands got to be difficult.
He's done it before against Mariano Rivera. He's done it against knuckleballers, but it's a little different item. When he'll be able to swing left-handed, maybe by Friday. That's certainly hoping that. Full foul, and it's 1-2. Of course, right-handed is Jose's natural side, and I guess that's the hope, is that the natural instinct of hitting from that side kicks in.
So I've always said I like Jose's swing from the right side better than the left. And he's got a natural swing from the right side of the plate. He's got more power.
Switch hitting since he was about 16 years old.
I just can't tell you how well he's played this year. He and David have just played so. When they've caught fire, they've been terrific.
1-2 from Arroyo. Grounded right back to Arroyo. Goes down to get it and makes the play to end the inning. So the Mets get the first two men on, but strand them both. We've played 5, tied at 1. Time to go to Matt Cerrone from MetsBlog.com with the Verizon studio for a quick update on what the fans are thinking. Express. Book your trip today at Amtrak.com. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. get live reactions on LeBron's decision, plus complete coverage and analysis of what's next for the Knicks and the Nets on Geico Sports Night NBA Special Free Agent Frenzy. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. only on SNY.
Inquiring minds.
You getting in a frenzy? A lather? A dither?
Can't sleep.
6th inning in a 1-1 game. The Reds have had just one hit. That was Brandon Phillips' home run with 2 out in the 3rd inning that tied the game after Angel Pagan's home run gave the Mets the lead in the 1st. Phillips has hit 2 balls hard. The first time up, he hit a bullet right at David Wright. And he takes all the way a strike.
One of the few mistakes Jonathan has made in this ball game so far, and he paid the ultimate price, a bomb.
Phillips has 5 at-bats against Nice this year, 3 hits, 2 home runs. So he's been Nice's toughest to face on the Reds. The Reds have now hit 105 home runs, the most in the National League. Phillips goes the other way, and Feliciano drifting back to the warning track and made it a little tougher than he had to for the first out.
Well, he drifted a little bit here, and all of a sudden, oops.
There's some tough air currents out there at right, so it behooves you to get back there as fast as you can.
Yes.
So that's 7 in a row retired by Nice, who has struck out 7. John struck out 8 in his last start, which was a career high for him. He's already gotten Cabrera once tonight, struck him out in the first, then hit him with a pitch on the left toe in the third. Right back to Jonathan. And there are 2 out. Not only is he mowing through the Reds, but he's getting very quick outs.
And we're going to do pitch sequences here. The first inning, much like Santana, led him off with a curveball, back-to-back. The same thing Santana did, 1-1. That was a changeup that didn't make it. 2-1. Fastball in. 2-2. Then a little cutter on the outside corner. In the third inning, much like Santana, he changed the program. Santana pitched him with fastballs at second at bat. The count went deeper with Santana. He threw more fastballs at second at bat last night, but Neese got the out in the first pitch.
This time Neese starts Sabato off with a curveball outside and comes right back with a fastball low and in and falls behind 2-0. Neese has not gone to a 3-ball count all night. That's how efficient he's been. Just 65 pitches. And that's outside, and there is his first 3-ball count.
Doesn't it always happen that way?
Yeah, of course. It's like
it's just like a.
He's a 95% foul shooter. Never misses, except this time. There's ball 4. So Neese, a 4-pitch walk to Votto, snaps a string of 9 in a row, retired. Time to check in with Chris Carlin for a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break.
That's a F7 on your scorecard here at Citi Field.
Yeah, at least you got it over the flower bed. Ball 1 to Scott Rowland.
Remember, Rowland's got 2 strikeouts here. Remember his first at bat, he took, what, 3 fastballs? He was looking for something else.
And that's 6 in a row out of the strike zone from Neese, who had been rolling, and all of a sudden the plate moving around a little bit. And so Josh Thole, for what I believe is the first time tonight, is out to the mound.
Good time to go talk to your pitcher, settle him down. Neese has been in such a groove.
Tied ball game, 1 mistake can beat you. So Neese with a big pitch to make here against Rowland. And he gets under one. Shallow center field. Cora called off by Feliciano. Side retired. So Neese makes the big pitch when he has to. Middle of the 6th, still tied up.
good one tonight as Angel Pagan will lead it off for the Mets, and that brings up the topic of Carlos Beltran. I asked Omar Minaya, the general manager, about Beltran today, and he said Thursday, that would be in San Francisco after the All-Star break, is looking very, very good. He said, actually, Carlos really wants to be back now. He wants to be here. We've been conservative. We want to make sure he's okay, and we want to have him for the rest of the season. That's just the approach the Mets are taking with Beltran, being extra careful. And I think if he does come back Thursday, guys, that brings up a lot of interesting topics. Number one, obviously, the musical chairs in the outfield. And number two, where does Carlos Beltran bat in the order? Because with Pagan 2 and Reyes 1, I mean, I really think it's been the big difference in this Mets offense. Once Jerry Manuel put that there, it just seemed like things really took off. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this thing when he comes back. Guys, back to you.
Well, I know Keith's already expressed his opinion. You think Beltran's going to hit fifth.
I have not expressed that opinion.
Maybe it was Ronnie
who did it. I haven't really given it much thought. I don't think they're going to move right out of the third position. Right's just too red hot. I mean, you could hit Beltran fourth as a switch hitter and put, depending on lefty righty, move either Ike fifth or sixth, Bay fifth or sixth. There's a lot of options.
And of course, it also depends if Pagan's in the lineup. If Pagan's playing and hitting second, that's different from if Frank Cora is playing. Check swing, he went around, and Pagan is struck out. The third of the night for Arroyo. One down in the sixth.
You know, this lineup, guys, could look very different in just a couple of weeks. I mean, Beltran, Luis Castillo is set to start a rehab assignment in St. Lucie either Sunday or Monday. So take him a couple weeks, and he could be back, and it really would change everything about what's been going on with this Mets lineup right now.
Do you think with Castillo, the way Pagan has performed, that if Louis is going to play, and I don't think that's necessarily a given that he's going to play all the time, that if Pagan's in the lineup, Castillo's going to hit eighth.
And we never liked Louis in the eighth spot. But you know what? It's not a bad guy to have hitting eighth.
I think with all the other guys you've got now, Pagan has earned that two spot if he's playing. David Wright is 0 for 2 tonight. He's fly down and grounded out. But those are good problems for a manager to have.
Yes.
Out to shallow right. Heisey coming on, but it'll drop for a base hit.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. You know, you could hit Beltran behind Bay, not change the order at all, Gare. And here's the little dork in the right field. You could hit Bay Beltran behind Bay and give Bay some great protection. You
can bat. You can blow the whole thing up and hit bat Beltran second.
You could do that also.
Here's Ike Davis with 1 out and 1 on. Davis lined one that almost went through the glove of Joey Votto his last time up.
You could, we were just ifs, ands, and buts.
Right, but I think part of the uncertainty is that you don't know who's going to be playing on an everyday basis. Does Castillo fully reclaim his second base job when he comes back? Does Pagan play most of the time and Frank Cora a lot less, or is it more of an even split? 1-1 to Davis. And does playing multiple guys rather than having a set lineup somehow disrupt your chemistry?
I think as long as you keep your key guys in the same spot, it's interesting. I'm sure Jerry's going to mull over this. Now, left-hand pitchers, Frank Cora's going to play. So Beltran could hit second in the lineup against lefties.
Keith, with cleanup, I mean, with Ike going into that spot, it just seems he's really helped solidify things, and he plays every day. So would you risk Beltran there if he's going to play, say, 5 out of 7 days of the week, especially early on? Would you want to have that and change the cleanup hitter?
I would do it, Kev, not in the beginning.
Down to Votto, bobbles it, makes the backhand flip for the out, but he lost the play at second base on right, and that moves the go-ahead run into scoring position.
Well, Votto's just really had a tough series defensively. We'll get back to Kevin's question. This is a double play. Taylor made. No reason to rush with Davis running, and just loses the handle. Now base hit puts the Mets ahead. It might be a difference in the ballgame.
Votto yesterday made a diving stop on a ball in the 6th inning, but then made a horrible throw to second base that cost him a force play there.
Kev, if you don't put Beltran from the get-go in the cleanup spot, but what happens, say, if Beltran all of a sudden is red hot, comes back red hot, or whatever, gets into a Beltran hot streak? then you can make that move. You can do that. It would give you more speed at the top because Ike's a little bit of a truck horse around those bases.
Here's Bay,
and he hits one in the air deep toward the gap in right center field. Back to the warning track, Heisey, and he made the catch. Great running play by Chris Heisey. He covered an enormous amount of ground to run that ball at the edge of the warning track. Beautifully done by the rookie right fielder to keep this game tied. Your direct line to the day's top New York sports stories, straight from a team of diverse personalities as passionate about New York sports as you are. Daily News Live, Lil House, and Loudmouth, all part of the New York Sports Local, weekdays starting at 5 on SNY. 1-1 game as we start the 7th. Johnny Gomes leads off against John Neese, who's allowed just one hit tonight, a Brandon Phillips home run back in the 3rd. Neese has walked 1 and struck out 7, has been in complete command.
Again.
That's getting to be a habit, isn't it?
I like him. I liked him from the get-go. I knew he was going to take some lumps early in his career. I didn't expect him to come off the DL like this.
Trying for his 6th straight win tonight, and Gomes pops one up into shallow left. In comes Bay, and there's one away. So Neese has retired the leadoff hitter in 7 straight innings. And now Chris Heisey, whose catch prevented the Mets from scoring the go-ahead run in the last half inning. When that ball first came off Jason Bay's bat, it did not look like Heisey had a chance to run it down. But he is known as a scrappy player, and he scrapped to the ball. Up and away for ball 1. Heisey was robbed in his own right on a terrific play by Alex Cora back in the 2nd inning. Well, last night, Johan Santana gave the Mets 9 innings, and with Neese's pitch count so low, he could be headed in that direction again. In the air to left field, pretty deep. Back goes Bay onto the track near the wall, and it's out of here. Chris Heisey, after making the catch to keep it tied, unties it with his 5th home run of the year. And Cincinnati takes a 2-1 lead.
Wow. 2 hits, 2 home runs. This is the catch, end of the inning to save the run. And then how about this? A cutter that he turns on. Stayed flat. See, folks, up and stayed flat. He got under it too much.
Well, Chris Heisey now has 5 home runs in just 62 major league at bats. The Reds are a home run hitting team, and they've hit a pair tonight. Phillips and Heisey, their only hits, and that's been enough for a 2-1 lead. 1-1 to Drew Stubbs.
Watch the IOTV pitch differential. It's going to be up. He got it inside. Maybe not enough inside, but up. And it stayed flat. Hitter gets a good read on that flat break. There's the down one.
Slow ground ball, and Wright's going to have to let it roll, and it's going to stay fair for an infield hit. Wright knew with Stubbs' speed he had no chance to throw him out. So it's an infield hit for Drew Stubbs.
Didn't David have a play just like identical like this earlier in the series? He did.
Got to cut that grass differently. Let that ball go foul. Stubbs' 15th infield hit this season. And so he's aboard at first in a base-stealing threat with Corky Miller at the plate. Miller's 0 for 2, a foul pop-up on which Ike Davis made a splendid play in the 3rd, and then he struck out in the 5th. Stubbs has 16 steals this year in 19 tries. The Reds, for a team that hits a lot of home runs, also steal bases. They're 5th in the National League in steals, led by Stubbs.
Dusty always sets up that little bench there.
Lined, Cora grabs it out of the air and then flips to second. I think he was trying to short hop the ball, which is why he flipped it to second base, but he wound up catching it on the fly for the second out.
He just couldn't get away from this ball fast enough. The ball rushed on him.
That's the second time in this series he's had a similar play.
You've had back-to-back similar plays.
There's a lot of symmetry in the ballpark. So Miller retired for the second out, and now Bronson Arroyo steps in. Arroyo has been up twice and struck out twice. And he tries to bunt, gets it over the mound into no man's land, and Wright can't make a play. A bunt single from Bronson Arroyo. I'm not sure if he quite intended it that way, but his 80-foot bunt works perfectly.
Boy, it's like an L wedge here. I mean, he couldn't do that again in a million years.
He's not even smiling.
He wouldn't be alive in a million years, but
that's a good point. Well, now a crisis moment for John Neese, already down in this game 2-1. With 2 on and 2 out, and Brandon Phillips, who has been a tough nut for Neese to crack, coming to the plate.
No activity in that Met bullpen. Neese has been pitching fine, and he's got a. There's no way they could anticipate this with Phillips coming up. It's going to be a tough out for Jonathan.
Phillips has lined out to third base. It is 12th home run of the year, and then fly deep to right. John has given up only 4 hits, 2 home runs, and then 2 infield hits in this inning. Stubbs with a lot of speed at second. Arroyo the pitcher at first. And the curveball strike to Brandon Phillips.
There's got to be a little get me over curveball there. Got that one up. Got to be careful with get me over curveballs with runners on base in a tight ball game where you can get hurt.
Back-to-back curveballs, and it's 0-2. Phillips has just 29 runs batted in this year. He had been batting down in the order earlier this season, put up in the leadoff spot the last couple of weeks. And 2 to Phillips.
Boy, Atlanta broke that game wide open, didn't they?
6 runs in the 6th inning. Martin Prado has 2 more home runs tonight. Hit one yesterday. Matt Diaz also has a home run in that big 6th inning. One and 2 to Brandon Phillips, and the sidearm delivery goes behind him.
Wow.
And a great stop by Tolley to keep the runners from moving up.
I do not know why he would want to do this in this critical juncture of the game. That went behind his legs, did it not?
Yeah. Well, we saw Bronson Arroyo do something similar, dropping down against left-hand hitters. So Nice figuring, well, might work for him against the right-hand hitter. But no. Now it's 2-2. And he misses high. So after getting ahead 2 strikes on Phillips, Nice has gone to a full count. So that'll put the runners in motion. Stubbs and his speed will be taken off from second base. And Norton, I think, a little exasperated about that 1-2 pitch.
It's got to be a cutter here, something.
3-2, breaking ball hit in the air down the right field line, slicing toward the corner, and that is a fair ball. Bouncing up against the wall, they said, went out of play. It's a ground rule double. That'll keep the second run from scoring. Stubbs comes in. Arroyo will have to go back to third. It's a double for Brandon Phillips, and it's 3-1 Cincinnati.
So that is not an umpire judgment call there?
Not if it went out of play. If it's a fan interference call, then it is an umpire judgment play. But I believe that the first base umpire, Dale Scott, signaled ground rule double. And Dusty Baker will come out for a clarification.
A little bit of, here we are right here, right on the chalk.
Wow. And let's see. Another ball. Wait. Well, we didn't follow that through. Wait a second. Where did that ball end up?
I bet you it went out of play.
If it went out of play, there's no judgment call for the umpire. So follow that ball through. It hits the sidewall, and then where does it go after that?
It caroms off the sidewall and out of play. You watch. There it is.
And there it's hit. See, it hit that guy wire there out of play. So it's not a judgment call for the umpire. It's strictly 2 bases all the way. So Phillips has driven in 2 runs tonight with a home run and a double.
That was another lazy breaking ball here. See, he's just not, that's hanging right there.
Now a big batter, Orlando Cabrera, base hit, could stretch 3-1 into 5-1. Cabrera is 0 for 2. He's also been hit by a pitch tonight. Elmer descends up in the Mets bullpen. And Cabrera bounces one for Reyes to handle. And that retires the side, but the Reds take the lead with 2 runs. Chris Heisey, who made a terrific catch in the bottom of the 6th inning to keep the game tied, put the Reds in front with his 5th home run of the year. Single season record for most home runs and runs batted in. Think back. A lot of great Reds hitters. Tonight after the post game and at 1 a.m. catch the only New York sports news and highlights show in town. All the latest on the LeBron festivities tomorrow. We'll hear from Omar Minaya with the trade deadline now just 24 days away. And the Jets continue to add talent. Geico Sports Night tonight after the postgame and at 1 a.m. right here on SNY. Disappointing inning for John Neese as he gave up a pair of runs to put the Reds up 3-1. Neese is due to bat fourth for the Mets here in the bottom of the seventh. So if they get anybody on, he will almost certainly be out of the game. Josh Tolle, Jesus Feliciano, and Alex Cora will try and make that happen here in the bottom of the seventh against Bronson Arroyo, who has the lead for the first time tonight. Tolle has one of the Mets' 5 hits. He's single to right leading off the fifth. Mets got the first 2 men on in that fifth inning, but couldn't bring anybody around. They got a runner into scoring position in the sixth, but Heisey made that terrific running catch on Bay to keep the Mets from taking the lead. Tolle smacks one the other way, and he's got his second hit of the night. Chokes up on the bat and just puts the ball in play. Tolle now has 7 hits in 13 at bats since being called up. And so the Mets get the tying run to the plate with Jesus Feliciano. Feliciano is 1 for 2. Grounded to second and single to left. Feliciano takes the changeup high for ball 1.
Rolling in at the corner there, protecting against the drag bunt at third.
And it's 2-0. Well, the last time Tolle led off with a base hit in the 5th inning. Feliciano fell behind in the count and then took one the other way with 2 strikes. This time he's ahead in the count 2-0.
I'd be almost inclined to play behind Tolle at first base to cover a little more ground. Be able to push back deeper into the infield dirt. Cover more ground, that hole.
And the curveball drops in for a strike, 2-1.
Pretty goody pitch right there.
Arroyo's always felt as though he can throw that curveball for a strike anytime he wants.
And that's why he's been successful.
Great ball to strike ratio tonight. Just 82 pitches in the 7th inning. 2-1 to Feliciano. And time asked for. Alex Cora is out on deck, and then the pitcher spot. Keep in mind that with all the left-handed bats that Jerry shoved into the lineup tonight, he has just one left-handed bat on the bench, and that's Chris Carter.
It'll be just the bat you want to have off the bench. A guy with some pop. Mistake and hit it out of the ballpark.
Rounded to second, might be 2. Phillips with the backhand flip, and Cabrera turns it over for the 4-6-3 double play.
Well, he just takes that little bit off the sinker to get the left-hand hitter out in front. Rick Russell was the best at doing that at my time with the Cubs and the Pirates. Watch this. Took a little off, not much, down the middle, and oops, roll it over. 4-6-3 on your scorecard. Pitcher's best friend.
So here's Cora with 2 out and nobody on. Carter has come out on deck to pinch hit, but you have to believe that if Cora does not get aboard, that Neese is going to stay in the game to pitch the 8th inning.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Cora tonight is lined to right and grounded out to first base, 0 for 2.
Well, you got Votto leading off the next inning, so I'm sure he'll go out there against Votto.
And he's only thrown 87 pitches.
Right.
1-1 to Cora. Bronson Arroyo, who started his career with the Pirates, has had all sorts of roles in his career. He's bounced around and had good years and bad. Off the fist toward the middle, but over goes Phillips, makes the barehanded play and throws out. Wow! Brandon Phillips putting on a show. We've seen this before. Brandon Phillips, a multi-talented player, and he has shown off all his facets tonight. Out there for the 8th inning, facing the heart of the Cincinnati batting order. And Joey Votto fouls the curveball off his leg, 0-1. Well, Nice came into the 7th inning in a 1-1 game. Gave up a home run to Chris Heisey to untie things. Then a couple of infield hits and a Brandon Phillips double that hit the chalk down the right field line. Made it 3-1 Cincinnati. Bobby Parnell up in the Mets bullpen. Votto 0 for 2 and a walk tonight, and he takes inside 2-1. And a cutter in for a strike, 2-2.
Well, they kind of pitched Votto the same, like in between at bats. So first at bat the same as they went back to it in the 4th at bat. They went back from the beginning and pitched him in the 4th at bat the same way. Interesting. He's getting down on that curveball now, Gary. He's coming down with that arm. His breaking ball is getting lazier and a little more flat. That's a sign of a pitcher maybe getting tired.
Well, this could be the last batter for Nice. You got the right-hand hitters, Roland and Gomes to follow, and Parnell up in the bullpen. 2-2 to Votto. And the breaking ball in for a call, strike 3. Strikeout number 8 for Nice, matching his career high.
Well, he got on top of this one. Scratch that last comment. That's a beauty. I think he knew he dropped down that last one. He made darn sure he was going to get on top of that one. That was beautiful.
Well, that'll keep him in the game for one more batter at least. As he'll take on Roland, whom he has struck out twice tonight. Roland 0 for 3. And he pulls one foul.
Ooh, nice play down the line by the ball boy.
We love our ball boys.
I tell you what, our guys can catch down there.
Johnny Gomes on deck. The Reds with just 5 hits tonight, but 2 of them home runs off Nice, Phillips and Heisey. Just that they hit 2 home runs off Jonathan in Cincinnati the first time he faced them this year. 1-2 now on Roland. Well, the Reds leave here after tonight. The Mets take the day off tomorrow, and they play the Braves over the weekend. The Braves are accomplishing this year is nothing short of startling.
Bobby Cox's last year as manager. They're terrific at home. They're the only club with a better record at home than the Mets. The best record in baseball, 30-10 at home. A little vulnerable on the road, 19-25, and they're ahead right now by 4 runs in the 7th.
Yeah, it's funny. The first time we saw the Braves here at Citi Field this year, they looked like a terrible team. Roland hits one off the end of the bat to center field. And Pagan is there to grab it for the second out. Let's check in with the studio. Chris Carlin's there for a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. You know, the Braves right now are playing without 2/3 of their starting outfield. Nate McLeod's been out for a month with a concussion. Jason Hayward sitting with a thumb injury. Troy Gloss, who was carrying them for a while, has really cooled down, and he's had a bad knee recently and had to miss some time. Pulled through the hole on a base hit for Gomes. So a 2-out single for Johnny Gomes. But they've had guys like Diaz come off the DL and step in. Prado's having an unbelievable year. He's got 120 hits now. Chris Heisey coming up, and it looks like he's going to face Bobby Parnell, not John Nice, as Jerry Manuel heads out to the mound. So Nice goes 7 2/3 tonight, leaves trailing 3-1. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. Another good outing by Nice, but so far not quite good enough. We'll be right back. But Bronson Arroyo, with help from his defense, has been that much better, and the Reds have a 3-1 lead as Bobby Parnell comes on for the first time in this series.
Well, Parnell pitched, 5 of those 6 ball games in a row on the last road trip. Had sufficient rest now. He has been terrific.
Comes in to face Chris Heisey, who homered his last time up to give the Reds the lead. And Heisey fouls back the fastball, 0-1. Heisey 1 for 3, robbed of a hit by Alex Cora back in the second. And then hit his 5th home run of the season with 1 out in the 7th. Gomes at first with 2 down. And that fastball just missed.
Well, here's the home run that put the Reds on top. Breaks a 1-1 tie.
One from Parnell. Hit sharply toward the middle, a base hit. So Heisey has his second hit. Gomes going first to third. So Parnell, who faced 2 batters in Washington his last time out and gave up a couple of hits, gives up a hit to the first man to face him tonight. And the Reds with a chance to tack on first and third and 2 out. And now Drew Stubbs, who had an infield hit his last time up, 1 for 3.
Bit of a jam shot there. Just found the hole.
Well, Reyes was playing over toward the hole and couldn't get back to his left in time. So a big out now for Parnell with first and third and 2 out. And Stubbs takes a fastball for a strike. The Reds now with 7 hits, 6 of them in the last 2 innings. Nick Massett is up in the Cincinnati bullpen. He and Arthur Rhodes have shared the setup duties this year. There's a strike, and it's 0-2.
Gosh, go up there and take 2 pitches.
Isanori Takahashi moved into the bullpen this week. The Mets are skipping his start with the off day tomorrow, so he's available. Gomes at third, Heisey at first with 2 down. Now Parnell's 0-2, and he comes inside. 1-2 to Stubbs. Jerry Manuel said today the plan right now is for Takahashi to go back into the rotation after the All-Star break, but who knows who might fill that spot. The next time the Mets need a 5th starter, that wouldn't be till they get to Arizona a week after next. 1-2 to Stubbs. Low and away with a slider. I mean, it could be Oliver Perez by then. Could be John Maine. Could be a player who's not even in the organization right now.
Holly says he feels good. His arm feels good.
Holly's supposed to be pitching for Buffalo tonight. Chris Carter getting ready for an at-bat in the bottom of the inning. First Parnell trying to put the top to bed. And Stubbs keeps it alive. Well, over the weekend, the Mets and Braves hook up for 3. Ari Dickey against Tommy Hanson on Friday night. Mike Pelfrey and Tim Hudson Saturday afternoon. And Johan Santana coming off his shutout and home run against a resurgent Derek Lowe on Sunday.
That is, look at that big 3 coming in from Houston. I mean, Houston. Geez, Atlanta. Excuse me. What am I thinking?
One of those southern places.
What am I talking about?
Georgia, Texas. They're all the same.
Oh, gosh.
2-2 to Stubbs. The runner goes. He struck him out, and the inning's over. So Parnell fans Stubbs to leave 2 aboard. Now the Mets come up in the bottom of the 8th, down 3-1.
When do we go to Houston? play as you're going to see from a second baseman. The bare hand and the throw.
Home Depot doing more on defense. Reds make changes as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Chris Heisey moves from right field to left field. Jay Bruce comes in to play right as Gomes comes out. Chris Carter will pinch hit for the Mets, leading off at the bottom of the 8th against Bronson Arroyo, who's allowed just 6 hits over 7 innings and thrown just 86 pitches to get there. It'll be Carter, then Reyes and Pagan for the Mets in the home 8th, trailing 3-1. And Chris takes a curveball for a strike. Carter 5 for 20 as a pinch hitter this year. The only left-handed bat available on Jerry Manuel's bench tonight. The other bench players all right-handed. The 2 catchers, Blanco and Barajas, along with Frank Cora and Tejada. Takahashi and descends up in the Mets bullpen. Nick Massett continues to throw for Cincinnati. And the off-speed pitch hit right at the second baseman. Phillips makes the play for the first out. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Verizon Wireless, by Parts Authority, the future of auto parts, and by State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the day is John Romero of Merritt. Arthur Rhodes up alongside Massett in the Cincinnati bullpen with an eye toward Ike Davis, who's 3 batters away. Reyes is 0 for 3 tonight. Hasn't had the ball out of the infield, batting right-handed against the right-hander.
Boy, Arroyo just seems to cup against the Mets. He's got 90 pitches on the night.
Reyes pops one a mile high into shallow left. Cabrera going out to make the call. 2 out.
We talked earlier about Arroyo and what he's done against the Mets. And remember, he came up with the Pirates. His first start against the Mets, he was rocked, and ever since then, he has just been lights out.
And again tonight, 6-2 lifetime against the Mets in 10 starts, and working with the lead tonight. Now Pagan, who's accounted for the only Met run, second batter Arroyo faced tonight. Pagan hit one to the bullpen in right center. And Angel takes a strike.
Here's Pagan's home run. They got the Mets out on the board early, and the lead early. Change up too much inside, way out.
Under the glove of Arroyo and into center field, and Pagan has his second hit of the night, and that will get David Wright to the plate as the tying run here in the 8th.
Precisely what Arroyo did not want. And I saw David's approach the whole night has been to the opposite field on Arroyo. And I think that is the proper approach. Arroyo and a breaking ball pitcher, off-speed pitcher. Let's just see how they pitch him in this. This is critical, crucial, obviously, in the 8th.
Over the years, Arroyo's had the upper hand against Wright. Ryan Price, the pitching coach, out to the mound to talk it over. David has just 6 hits in 28 career at-bats against Arroyo, with 1 home run. David's been on a massive hot streak now for almost 6 weeks. And up in a crucial spot here in the bottom of the 8th as the tying run against a guy who's given the Mets fits. 3 complete games in his last 9 starts against the Mets.
Well, he's got to keep the ball in the ball yard here. It's going to be Arthur Rhodes to come in to face Davis. He just keep it in the yard.
And David swings and misses at the fastball, 0-1. So he was going up there looking for the 2-run homer.
They set up inside too, and David was looking in to go yard ball.
Now as he changes approach after that first strike. And the curveball hit foul.
Oh, did you see David's reaction?
Got out ahead of it and yanked it.
But it was a hanger. Inside half part of the plate. Oh, my word. But the off speed enabled him to get away with it. And David's reaction was, oh my gosh, if I just waited a split second longer.
So now Arroyo has him in a 0-2 hole.
Up and in bad they want. Fastball up and in bad. Oh, he didn't get it there. He did not get it up enough, and he had it over the middle and got away with it. Want it again up and in because they didn't get it in last time. Did that time. There you go. And it's a good pitch. Pitch to waste. So that's just a fastball saying I want it up. Fastball in. He's pointing to the inside corner. There's a good change right there. David just stayed in that at bat.
Well, we talked about this last night with Wright. How much more comfortable he's gotten with 2 strikes as this year has gone along. Back to where he was back in the early part of his career, a terrific 2-strike hitter.
Good time for Arroyo to drop down sidearm, and they want to come in again. Oh, wow.
Here's the 1-2. The runner goes, and it's hit off the fist toward the middle, plucked out of the air by Phillips to end the inning. With both middle infielders moving toward the bag with Pagan in motion, that put Phillips in the perfect spot to catch it. 3-1 Cincinnati. Arroyo.
First pitch fastball down sinker. One chase. Hanging curveball pulled foul 0-2. Fastball meant to be up and in. Didn't get it. Then they got it that time. And they came right back in with a little sinker. And then came right back in with a nice running fastball up and in. Now that is some aggressive pitching right there. Getting out the hottest hitter on the planet.
Now Elmer descends on to pitch the top of the 9th. Corky Miller leads off for the Reds, and he dribbles one. Miller not a fast runner, so time for Descends to throw him out. 1 pitch and 1 away. And now a decision for Dusty Baker, and he is going to pull Arroyo and send up a pinch hitter, Lance Nix, as you look at the numbers on Descends.
Well, Elmer in 18 games has just been spectacular. That ERA can be deceptive with relief pitchers, not with Elmer. He has been terrific.
So Arroyo is done after 8 innings. Got that huge out to end the 8th. 99 pitches for Arroyo, in line for his 7th win against 2 losses career against the Mets. He thought he needed to hit.
Well, you're out.
Isn't it my turn now?
No, it's okay. Go back in.
So now Lance Nix will be the pinch hitter. Nix getting his first at bat in the series.
Didn't Nix get a home run to beat the Mets?
He did. That first game of the series in Cincinnati, hit a walk-off home run. And Descends, works him inside for ball 1. John Neese went 7 2/3, allowed 3 runs, 6 hits, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. You see Francisco Cordero ready to try and save it for the Reds. Normally Neese's outing would have been good enough, but not tonight because Arroyo was better. Off-speed pitch, and it's fouled back. Pedro Feliciano up. with Joey Votto 3 batters away. More dangerous guy right now is on deck. Boy, Brandon Phillips has had himself a night.
Well, he always finds a way to give the Mets nothing but fits.
He's hit the ball hard 4 times, has a double and a home run, and he's made 2 fine defensive plays. 1-2 now to Nix. They've gone to the 8th inning in Philadelphia. The Braves leading the Phillies 7-4. Now descends with the 2-2. Just misses inside and a full count to Nix. .39-year-old Elmer descends. Has found a home in that Mets bullpen. And Nix rockets one toward the gap in right center field. Moving over is Feliciano to grab it. And that's the second out. Let's check in with the studio, Chris Carlin and Ron Darling, see what's coming up on Lincoln Mercury post-game live. And they didn't say LeBron once.
Wonderful. Chris had a nice smile on his face, didn't he?
He's a very happy guy. Here's Brandon Phillips working on a huge night tonight before he heads to his first All-Star game next week. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. We asked you which Red had the single season record for home runs and RBIs. Didn't he play for the Mets?
George Foster. That year I was playing, and that was a phenomenal year. It was the first National League player to hit over 50 home runs since Willie Mays.
Mays in 65, I think. Right?
I'm not sure.
Before hitting 50 home runs became cake.
50 home runs became like hitting 20 home runs.
Yeah. It's hard again.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Phillips rolls one toward the middle of the diamond. Reyes shuffles over to get it. And a 1-2-3 inning for Elmer descends. Now the Mets come to bat in the bottom of the 9th with Davis, Bay, and Tolley to try and get it done against Cordero.
of the fine top closers in Major League Baseball. Got an ERA below 4 with his 23rd save in the first game of this series, looking to get his 24th.
Ike Davis the lead off for the Mets in the last of the night. And Cordero got the save on Monday night. Remember, Ike Davis hit that pop up into shallow left, and Scott Rowland went way out to catch the ball over his shoulder.
Made a great catch.
Davis 0 for 3 tonight. And that pitch off the glove of Miller and all the way back. Ike just 1 for 11 in this series. Jason Bay on deck, and then Josh Tolle in the last of the night. Mets have scored 1 run tonight, and it came their second batter of the game, a home run by Angel Pagan. Davis takes a fastball for a strike, 1-1. Bronson Arroyo went 8 innings, allowed a run on 7 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts, a home run, 99 pitches, and in line for his 9th win if Cordero can save it. And a foul tip, 1-2.
Well, I can't go up here looking to swing for the downs. If the club is down by 2 runs, you've got to try to get on base and start the rally. Cordero loves the pitch lefties away.
And Davis rockets one toward the gap in right center field. Heisey won't get this one. Of course, he's in left. Stubbs plays it off the wall, and Davis stands at second base. A leadoff double for Ike Davis, and the Mets will get the tying run to the plate here in the ninth.
Well, wants to get away and right down the pipe. Now a little outer half. Look how strong Davis is. This is a line drive. That's off the base of the 415 route there. That's impressive. That's a rocket.
This ball just has that little extra explosion.
It's very strong.
So here is Bay, who hit one deep to right center his last time up, trying to get the lead run home. He was robbed by Chris Heisey. Bay has driven in 13 runs in his last 9 games, tying run at the plate. And Jason takes high for ball 1.
Roland guarding the line at third, playing way back, outfielders deep.
Josh Tolle on deck. Bay flying to left against Cordero on Monday night. And he takes a strike. Jason 0 for 5 in his career against the Reds closer. Davis not much speed at second. No chances to be taken there. Oh, and Bay badly fooled. 1-2.
He's had trouble with the breaking pitch. Right there, didn't want to swing. Remember in spring training, a quote from him, he said, sometimes I'm up there and I just never pick up the breaking ball. Coming in, how about this?
Popped up behind first base. Votto going back. He's got it lined up. And that's the first out of the inning. So Jason Bay is retired. Here's a few boos. There haven't been many of those for Jason. And now Josh Tolle, who already has 2 hits tonight. Single to right in the 5th, single to left in the 7th. 7 hits in 13 at bats since his call up. Davis is second and 1 out. And Tolle takes low and away for ball 1. Jeff Francoeur available off the bench. So is Henry Blanco, Rod Barajas, Ruben Tejada. 2-0. You got Jesus Feliciano on deck, and behind him Alex Cora, 2 left-handed bats. And right now Jerry's sticking with the lefties against Cordero. 2-0 to Tolle. And he takes a strike. Davis at second and 1 out. And Tolle takes it wide, and it's 3-1. A walk to Tolle would put the tying runs on base. With Feliciano on deck.
It'd make you wonder if he would pinch run for Tolle.
Ball 4. And now the tying runs are on. You got Ruben Tejada available to pinch run. If you want to go that way, you can also use a pitcher. That would gain you some speed. It will be Tejada, though, to come in and run for Tolle, carrying the tying run at first base. So Feliciano will bat with the tying runs aboard. Alex Cora is on deck. First and second and one out. And Feliciano takes a strike. Jesus came up his last time up in the 7th with a man on and rolled over into a double play.
So important for Cordero to get a first pitch strike.
Taken low. 1-1.
Deep in the outfield, just to play it safe. No doubles.
Feliciano not a power hitter. He lines one to center field, and there is Stubbs to grab it for the second out. Well, Feliciano hit it hard, and despite playing deep, Stubbs able to rush in and pick it off for the second out.
Well, that's called hitting it too hard, right on this fastball, right down the middle. He just rips it. What a big hang with him.
So now the Mets are down to their final out. And rather than put up a home run threat like a Barajas or a Francoeur, Jerry's going to stick with the left-hand batter Alex Cora here.
Well, if Cora gets on, Cora's been hot. You got the pinch hitter coming up next, and that would be your power bat. And here it comes. It's going to be Francoeur in the on-deck circle. So I agree with sticking with Cora. Cora's been hot with the bat.
0 for 3 tonight. And Alex takes a strike. Cora hitting .324 this year with runners in scoring position when the night began. 2 out and 2 on. 3-1 Cincinnati, 9th inning. And Cora takes on the inside corner. He didn't think so. And now he's in a 2-strike hole.
Well, I talked about Cordero throwing away to lefties. That had the corner. That's a tough pitch right there.
Came back nicely. Dan Iasonia saw it as a strike. And now the Mets are down to their final strike. .02. Ties him up, and he held the swing. It's 1-2. So Cordero changing the program a little bit. Davis at second. Tejada, the pinch runner, carrying the tying run at first. 1-2 to Alex Cora. And he stays on the at-bat, wasting away a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, Cordero's not wasting any time. He's throwing nothing but cheese up here. One breaking ball to Bay. And that's always a nerve-wracking time for a starting pitcher. Got some serious moss.
That's that rock and roll hair. Cordero's thrown 20 pitches in the inning. 1-2 to Cora. Now back.
Well, Alex is always a tough strikeout. He's going to shorten up. He is not going to try to do anything but continue the rally.
The outfield playing deeper than they normally would against Cora. Not a power hitter. Trying to keep that tying run from scoring on a base hit. 1-2 from Cordero. And again, it's fisted foul. 3 in a row.
Got to think 1 and 2 here. You're going to throw a splitter in the dirt. See if Alex would go fishing after all these hard fastballs upstairs. 1 and 2 count. Good time to see if you can throw that splitter. If not, then you got to go back to number 1. But what do I know about pitching?
You know how to hit it.
Success ratio slightly under 30%.
1-2 to Cora. In the dirt and trickling away, but not far enough for the runners to move. 2-2.
Well, that was the breaking ball. So I was right. It was a splitter, excuse me, and he just got too much on top. Now he's going to have to come back.
Corky Miller getting in front of that ball, keeping the tying run from getting to second base.
Fastball away. It's got to be a fastball.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Cora.
And a high fly ball along the right field line. Jay Bruce drifts over. And the ball game is over. The Reds take 2 out of 3 from the Mets. Great pitching by Bronson Arroyo tonight. He went 8 innings to beat the Mets for the 7th time in 9 career decisions. Cincinnati takes 2 out of 3. Great game for Brandon Phillips as the Reds win it 3-1.
Well, Arroyo continues his dominance over the Mets. Now pushes his record to 7-2 career against the Metropolitans. And the #1 hitting a ball club in the National League, well, they got kind of turned off a little bit here. They got shut out last night, only got 3 runs tonight. But they take the series. The Braves are coming in. The Mets get an off day. Big series with the Braves coming up, and that's the big hero right there. Boy, he just did it with the glove and with the bat. Drove in 2 of the 3 runs, hit a home run.
And a check mark for Chris